I saw a post the other day that said Republicans are fascism, but Democrats are fascism light. I wish I could find the actual post, but painful yet true. That's why we need to change the whole system. That's why we need actual social progress. And I think this guy that we're about to watch sums it up really well.
In short, liberalism allows them to rule by consent, rule through hegemony, and fascism is when that's not working out and they need to rule by more direct repression. And I refer to liberalism as the good cop of fascism, who's going to bring you a coffee, say you can make a phone call, they're on your side, etc., which is true. They want to be able to rule in a consensual manner. But if that doesn't work out, then they bring out the bad cop, and the bad cop will rough you up and beat you up. You got to see through that interrogation tactic, right? The good cop and the bad cop are working together to the same end. They work for the same masters, and that is King Capital, who's behind both of them.
And this is precisely why you see establishment Democrats do things like voice their opposition or write strongly worded letters, but then do nothing of substance to actually oppose fascism, and in fact sometimes vote along with or to enable fascism. It's also why you see Democrats like Governor Newsom in California working with billionaires to take down a billionaire tax in California, saying, oh, it'll drive all the billionaires out. The same propaganda that was used against Mondami in New York, and they're doing just great.
And once you begin to see that, then you can understand the history of liberalism and fascism, I think, a lot better. I mean, fascism in its classical sense in Germany and Italy, it rose through, bourgeois parliamentary mechanisms.
So if you don't know that, so if you're not familiar with the term bourgeois that he's using, it is a term that refers to the social class of property and business owners who own and control the means of production and capital in a capitalist society. In other words, the business owners, the entrepreneurs, the Google executives, the billionaires, the warehouse owners, the healthcare insurance executives. These are the bourgeois class that he's referring to. And of course, I would also say that extends to Mark Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and these other people who are also wealthy, maybe not the wealthiest, but working for the interests of the wealthy.
For the most part, the structures of parliamentarianism were in place, and it was the funding by the capitalist ruling class of the fascists that helped bring them to power within those mechanisms.
Now, when he says it was the funding of the fascists by the capitalist ruling class that brought them to power in the first place, does that sound familiar to anybody?
And liberalism often wants to have, it doesn't often, it does maintain fascism because it needs to keep that option on call at all times.
And this is precisely why you see Democrats voting to fund a surveillance state. This is why you see them voting in these anti-immigration measures. This is why you see them voting for these age verification online laws that are trying to be passed. This is why you see them voting to keep funding certain what's the word I'm looking for here? Nation states that cannot be named on certain social media platforms. Do you see the pattern? It's very clear.